Turkey, you need to put a small ring, the smaller ring in the.
The only, hey Matt. Yeah. The only running that I'm gonna be doing is running upside his head, and I can assure you that.
Shakur Stevenson, as we know, got a fight coming up with William Zepeda. But Shakur Stevenson always been pretty outspoken on how he feel about the fight between Canelo and Crawford.
I need y'all to get the likes up, man.
Even since back in the day, some years ago, long before this fight even got made, Shakur Stevenson was one of the rare guys that believed that if Crawford and Canelo was in the same weight class, if Crawford and Canelo was in the same weight class, that Crawford beats Canelo Alvarez easy.
This is what let this fight.
But Bud the best fighter in boxing too. Make sure y'all let that be known.
Canelo?
Yeah.
Bud the best fighter in boxing. If Canelo is at his weight, I'm telling y'all now, Bud will beat Canelo. I stand on that.
What is the biggest?
And this was some years ago when he first said this. I said this as well, right? If you was around that time, I always said if Canelo and Crawford was the same weight, if Crawford was a natural middleweight fighter, he beats Canelo Alvarez. Easy work. But the way the universe works, Crawford is naturally the lighter guy, then Saul Canelo Alvarez. But Shakur Stevenson gets asked again from SOG Andre Ward from All the Smoke podcast. Check out what Shakur Stevenson had to say this time.
Thoughts on Terence Crawford, Canelo Alvarez. Terence going up another 2 weight classes. Just got to 54. He's skipping 60, going straight to 68, talking about what's going on.
I feel like once he beat Canelo, that will be like one of the greatest resumes in boxing ever, just because of the fact that he's going up 2 divisions just to fight this guy, and this guy's bigger than him. And not only did you just crush Errol Spence, but you go out there and the way that he beats Canelo too. If he go out there and just dominate and make it an easy fight, honestly, I think that that's going to be like one of the best resumes I ever seen. But as far as the fight, I feel like Bud could beat him easy.
How though? Don't give me everything. Just how is it?
For me, it's a blueprint already. Floyd was a lot smaller than Canelo when he fought him. You keep Canelo on the outside. I ain't going to even say too much, but you keep him on the outside and make it an easy night.
Now, after hearing what he had to say and his reason why, just keep him on the outside. Keep him on the outside, right? Then it should be an easy night for Bud. That's all he got to do. Shakur Stevenson knows Crawford better than anybody, right? He should know Bud pretty well. That's like Big Bro. They sparred with each other over the years, been in the ring with each other quite a bit, et cetera, et cetera. Shakur Stevenson wouldn't know that Bud Crawford beats Canelo pretty easily. That just keep him on, you know what, I'm not going to say no more. He didn't want to say too much because it's a relatively easy layout. And like I said, right? What did I say? The blueprint is out on how to beat Canelo. Right? It's not like there's not a blueprint on what to do to beat Canelo Alvarez. There isn't a blueprint on how to beat Crawford. This is why I say Canelo has more of a battle this upcoming September. Because you got to get the sparring partners, the right guys to come in, right? You have to get the right guys to come in and, you know, they can fight both sides, and there's not too many guys that can fight both sides, so you have to bring in southpaws, you have to bring in orthodox, you have to bring in some dudes that can fake the funk. It's a lot of work. But you got to keep him on the outside. And I think this is something that Crawford's going to do in the fight. Control Canelo with his lead hand. And we've seen Canelo for the speed. It's a lot worse than I even thought. Going back and looking at the Skull fight and looking at some of the clips and highlights, looking at Canelo's footwork, his foot movement, it looks a lot worse than it even was before, man. I think that's going to be a significant move for Crawford, is to really utilize the footwork to let Canelo know this is what this is. Yeah, I can stand in front of you and throw some punches, but I can also move around this ring and make you think a little bit. Let your feet try to catch up with you. You know what I'm saying? Because Canelo Alvarez, that little jab, right hand, no, it's not going to work, dog. It's not going to work against Crawford, bro. Canelo Alvarez is going to have to do something different against Terence Crawford. He's going to have to do something different. He's going to have to do something probably that he's not really used to. He's going to have to do something that's probably going to make him very uncomfortable. But it's what he's going to have to do. Because that jab, you know what I'm saying, too? That's not going to work against Bud, dude. That's not going to work. That you having to not being able to really get back in position. If Crawford try to, it's not going to work, dog. Like, you got to move your feet faster than that, bro. And even if Crawford don't got the same legs that he may have had or the legs that he would have had, I will still imagine that his foot speed is still better than an aging Canelo Alvarez. But Shakur Stevenson seems to be very vocal, very confident, even more so now that Terence Crawford is going to get the job done. I mean, more and more people seem to be leaning towards Bud. More people seemingly believe that Crawford's going to get the KO.
I don't know, did that do anything for how you thought about the fight?
Nah, I already know Terence going to win. I've been knowing Terence since he was 12 years old, and he's a great fighter. He can fight both ways. He's going to stop Canelo in the late rounds.
Stop him?
Stoppage. Knockout.
How do you know he's got
TKO.
The power?
Because he's going to go up in weight. He's going to be strong. He's going to be sharp. He can fight both ways. How can Canelo train to fight him? He's going to get southpaws and right-handed guys. He don't know what he's going to do. He came out against Errol Spence, right? Southpaw. We don't know what he's going to do. And he awkward too. So it's going to be a good fight. But I'm telling you, Canelo passed himself. No disrespect to Canelo. I love him. He's a great guy. But I got Crawford in stoppage.
I'm not sure about that still. I see, you still got to show me, dog. Like, I got to see. Maybe I'm missing something, but I don't even foresee necessarily just a KO. But there's a lot of people that foresee a KO in this fight. But keep him on the outside, man. Keep him on the outside. This is probably something the Team Crawford's looking at. I'm not sure, right? We're not going to talk too much about the game plan if that's the game plan. But if the game plan is just keep him on the outside, that's a relatively simple game plan. Especially considering he has the speed and the reach advantage. It may not be a fun fight for Canelo. Maybe Shakur Stevenson revealed a little too much too early, but you got to also ask yourself, will Canelo be able to do something about it? You also got to ask yourself, what you going to do about it? Even if you do know Canelo, what you going to do about it? Yeah, I'm going to keep you on the outside. That's without question. What you going to do about it? How you going to get in? How you going to get in the inside? When I'm throwing these jabs mixed with power jabs, with these straight lefts or these straight rights, whichever side I'm fighting on. And I can probably switch up mid-combo to be in the opposite stance that I was originally in prior to me starting that combo. There's a lot of things Canelo has to worry about in this fight. And like I said on a more recent live stream, if Floyd Mayweather was a wizard, or if he's like a mage, Terence Crawford is like a battle mage. because he could do a little bit of both, and he's going to bring that heat. He's coming for that action, right? But he going to also get you thinking, set traps, things like that, right? A wizardry. Some wizardry in the ring, along with a brutal assault. It's going to be tough for Canelo Alvarez if he can't get on the inside of Terence Crawford and stay on the inside and keep it an inside fight. Another thing is Terence Crawford is pretty good from all ranges. So this is it's not like you can say, well, Crawford, he's weak up close. You don't hear nobody saying anything anymore. Remember, Crawford used to be chinny at one point. You know, he used to be chinny, quote unquote. You don't really hear those whispers anymore, right? You don't hear them say, well, Crawford, he's weak, close quarters. Stay in close on him. That's all you got to do. We don't really know what the weakness is of Terence Crawford, but we're going to see if Canelo Alvarez can make something happen. I think as the weeks go, he's starting to look more and more and more like an underdog. Starting to sound like an underdog the more we talk about the fight, Shakur Stevenson. Of course, his pick is going to be pretty biased, okay? We already know Shakur Stevenson is going to pick Bud Crawford, but he gave us a little bit of detail as to why he thinks Bud Crawford wins the fight. But yeah, man, well, like I said, the blueprint is out there on how to beat Canelo Alvarez, but is there a blueprint, or will Canelo finally make the blueprint to defeat the mighty Terence Bud Crawford? Like, subscribe, holla at your boy. Peace out.